Crazy Woman Creek, a strange name for a creek. The Crazy Woman Creek is located in north central Wyoming and flows from its source in the Bighorn Mountains to where it empties into the Powder River, about 30 miles. As Americans moved west, the explorers, mountain men, and later settlers, they encountered the geographical features of the land, mountains, rivers, and creeks. Some of these features were named for the indigenous people. For example, the Absaroka Mountains or the Cheyenne River. Sometimes for Americans, the Jefferson River or Pikes Peak, for example, or international boundary markers. The Spanish Peaks come to mind. The wildlife even had their name attached to some of the places. The Bighorn Mountains or Elk Antler Creek. Back to the story of Crazy Woman Creek, however. Where did that name come from, and who coined the name in the first place? The name first appeared sometime in the 1860s when settlers first began to traverse the area along the Bozeman Trail from the Immigrant Trail north to the gold fields of Montana. There are two generally accepted versions of the source for the name Crazy Woman. One version is based on a story told by the Crow. According to the Crow's story, an old woman's village was wiped out by an attacking hostile band, and she was the sole survivor. After seeing her family and friends slaughtered, she went insane. For the remainder of her life, she lived alone in a wickiup along the banks of the creek. On moonlight nights, she could be seen skipping among the rocks in the creek. The Crow considered her good luck and left her alone. Other tribes did not harm her because they feared her powerful magic. The second legend tells of a trader who sold whiskey to gain favor or trading advantage with the local tribes. When the whiskey was gone, they demanded more, which he could not supply. Angry for his failure to supply whiskey, his customers killed him. His young wife witnessed the murder, but was able to escape. Unfortunately, the experience caused her to go insane. She spent the remainder of her life wandering up and down the creek, living in a crude hut. Because of her insanity, she was safe from further harm by the Indians, but eventually succumbed to the elements or starvation. North of the Crazy Woman Creek in Wyoming are the Crazy Woman Mountains in Montana. Oddly enough, the story behind the name of these mountains is similar to the stories of Crazy Woman Creek. When the mountain men arrived in the area, they asked the Crow what they called the mountains. Not understanding each other's language, they communicated in sign language. The Crow tried to tell the mountain men that the mountains were a place of vision. The Crow waved their hands around their head and pointed to the sky. The mountain men interpreted these signs to mean a place where people went crazy. Later, when they could speak each other's language, the Crow explained they believed the mountains had metaphysical powers and a place to go for visions. Other stories claim the Crazy Mountains is a shortened version of the Crazy Woman Mountains. As with Crazy Woman Creek, there are two versions to the source of the name. The Blackfeet tell a story of a female in the tribe who claimed to be a shaman, but since they only had male shaman, they ridiculed her and called her crazy. She then went up into the mountain wilderness on a quest to prove her point and never returned. Her spirit is suspected by many to reside in the mountains to this day. According to the Mountain Man's legend, the mountains were so named after a woman who went insane after seeing her family killed by warriors from the Blackfeet tribe. This story is portrayed in the movie Jeremiah Johnson. In 1846, the Morgan family was trekking west in a covered wagon. They stopped a few days on the Musselshell River and constructed a lean-to. Rest for a few days before pushing onward. After resting for 3 days, Mr. Morgan ventured out to bring in the oxen. When he did not return after a lengthy period, Mrs. Morgan sent her 2 sons and 1 daughter out to find him, and when they did not return, she went out to find them herself. Coming across her family, having been killed and scalped by Blackfeet warriors, she went berserk, killing 4 of the perpetrators herself. The Blackfeet fled, leaving her alone, believing she was touched by evil. She then retreated into the mountains and lived there for the rest of her life. Some claim her spirit still lingers there yet. The truth of the matter is that no one really knows the actual story, how the creek or the mountains received their name. Legend, story, or just tall tales. Here's an idea. You make up a story, tell it to a lot of people, and see if it comes back to you. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. Please take some time to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and comment.